Today on LU News, Longwood students react to the death of 9/11 mastermind Osama Bin Laden. Also, voting began for the new Longwood University mascot last weekend, and we have the details. We will also tell you how the Longwood men's rugby team fared at the national championship. This edition of LU News starts now. Good evening and welcome to LU News. I'm Ben Maitland. It was 10 years ago on September 11, 2001, when nearly 3,000 people lost their lives in the worst terrorist attack in U.S. history. That day is still fresh in the minds of all Americans. Now one of the men most responsible for the attack has been brought to justice. On Sunday, May 1st, Osama Bin Laden, the leader of the al-Qaeda terrorist network, was killed by an elite team of Navy SEALs in a raid in Abbottabad, Pakistan. The SEAL team flew in by helicopters and stormed the compound where Bin Laden was hiding. After a 40-minute firefight, the American troops killed Bin Laden and took custody of his body. At 11:30 p.m. on Sunday night, President Obama addressed the nation from the White House.
The death of bin Laden marks the most significant achievement to date in our nation's effort to defeat al-Qaeda. Yet his death does not mark the end of our effort. There is no doubt that al-Qaeda will continue to pursue attacks against us. We must and we will remain vigilant at home and abroad.
People all around the country rejoiced upon hearing Bin Laden was dead. We asked Longwood students how they felt when they heard the news.
I felt like it was a good thing for America, for the security, and it's good that our troops have been working hard to get the job done.
Well, to be honest, I was pretty surprised because I think for me, like the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, after a while, those kind of overshadowed the fact that he was even still out there. So when they killed him, I was just like, oh, yeah, he was still on the run, kind of.
I think it's a great victory for the United States, but I think at the same time, people are thinking terrorism might be over, the threat might be over, but really the threat's just beginning. We've got the top guy, but we have a lot more work to go.
Longwood University is in the process of getting a new mascot and fight song. Just to clarify, the university will still be called the Lancers. The Lancer logo will not change. Caitlin Norman has more on the story.
On Sunday, May 1st at 10 p.m., Longwood students lined up outside Doral Dining Hall, not only for a bite to eat and a chance to relax, but to vote on the university's new mascot. A committee made up of 10 people within the athletics department was given the task to come up with a new mascot and fight song for the university. Member of the committee, Eric Stoller, explains.
We came up with a bunch of ideas. We put them all together. We had someone do sketches of them all. Then we all voted and decided which ones were the best, and the two finalists were the two that everyone is voting on.
The final mascots that Longwood students were voting on came down to the wood. The wood theme has ties to the Kai burning ceremony. It also represents red and green leaves that pay tribute to the class colors. The other mascot in the running was a horse. This character is in large part connected to the Joni on the pony, which is a big part of Longwood's culture. As soon as students entered the dining hall, the voting began. Longwood junior and softball player Courtney Long said, Stoller explained how the new mascot and fight song would affect the Longwood and Farmville community.
Just to get Longwood a little bit of a community involvement. It's not used just for athletics, it'll be used at all Longwood events, hopefully around the town of Farmville. It's to build a better connection with the students, alumni, youth. It's just a good image to have around the town of Farmville and even outside the town of Farmville.
Students were sent an email stating they could vote on Blackboard for the mascot until May 9th. The results will be announced fall 2011 at the greatest athletics march ever. The new fight song, however, is being created by Longwood Music Department and will be released later in the fall. I'm Caitlin Norman reporting for LU News.
Thanks, Caitlin. The Longwood men's rugby team has plenty of reasons to celebrate. Last weekend, the team won the Division III College Rugby National Championship in Virginia Beach. 135 teams from across the country competed in the tournament. John Graham is the head coach for the men's rugby team. Longwood President Patrick Finnegan said, quote, "These young men did an excellent job representing Longwood University and capturing our first rugby championship of this kind," end quote. Now it's time for a Longwood athletics recap. The baseball team had its final 3 home games canceled due to inclement weather, including the storm that produced tornadoes in the Farmville area. The Lancers were scheduled to play Radford and Campbell. They did not play again until May the 8th when they traveled to William & Mary. The women's lacrosse team defeated Detroit Mercy 16-9, but fell to High Point 15-7. Both of those games were held at the National Lacrosse Conference Championship. Well, that's all for this edition of LU News. For the final time this semester, I'm Ben Maitland saying so long and go Lancers.